The city of Boston itself had its ups and downs, too. In January, 2 Boston Latin students launched a campaign to raise awareness of instances of racism at the nation's oldest public school.
We are here today
to initiate phase 1 of our campaign,
#Black.BLS. We are here today to make our voices heard, to show BLS administration and everyone that we refuse to be silenced.
After the videos released, the school's handling of past racism claims came under the microscope, and although the initial Boston Public Schools investigation cleared administrators, later investigations found major issues with the school's response, and ultimately the headmaster and the number 2 resigned. Then there were, of course, the police body camera controversy. The pilot, which was delayed multiple times throughout the year, began in earnest in September after not a single volunteer officer stepped forward, and the department ended up randomly assigning 100 officers to take part. Quickly, if we can here, speaking of whether or not, for example, the Brian Joyce thing trickled down to others, did this Boston Latin thing feed this notion that Boston continues to be a city with a real problem of racism, or is it seen as contained within the walls of that school?
It did. It absolutely did. You know, even at that, I mean, a lot of times we think of racism at a very established level. It's in the Boston business community, but you know, you have to be around decades to experience. But this is at the very, you know, a culture in teenagers experiencing it. And you talk to Boston Latin alums, they said that, you know, things haven't changed in 20, 30 years. Is pretty incredible.
So is there a taint from this, or is there not? I mean, Walsh called it out pretty quickly, I should say, and he put in a guy, Michael Contampassis, who's a former headmaster, who's now the interim headmaster, yet again, who's deeply respected. But how will this play in terms of Boston's image?
So first of all, I'm struck by the fact that so many of the issues that we're discussing now are relative or related to the internet or someone having a camera where they take, you know, a video of something that's going on.
A lot more transparency in 2016.
More transparency. So when those type of things develop, it's a matter of what do you do then? And, you know, there was some missteps that were taken, but we're in the right place now with regard to Boston Latin, I think, and progress is coming about as a result.
You're nodding in agreement? You buy that?
I agree. I mean, again, I do think that a lot of these problems come to the forefront more quickly. I mean, and maybe a lot of this stuff, especially at Boston Latin, was happening for a long time, but I do think that a lot of this stuff can be exposed and dealt with quickly because it's more open now.
Body camera thing, Commissioner Evans is with us on the radio every month. We talk to the mayor about it every month also. We're roughly halfway through this pilot thing, and there's still not a commitment on the part of the mayor and the police commissioner that it will continue. One, I learned the other day from both of them, there is going to be a hiatus at the end of the 6 months while they're reevaluating the program, which I assume is not going to sit well with some people. There are deep concerns, which are understandable, about the financing. How's the city going to react if they ultimately decide, listen, we got mostly positive reviews, and so far they say it's all positive, but we can't afford this thing, so we just can't do it?
I don't understand why it's so difficult to institute this program.
Other cities are doing it.
And especially when we have nothing to hide. I mean, the Boston Police has a record in recent years of, you know, community policing has a stellar record.
And transparency, unlike a lot of other police forces around the country.
We haven't had any big issues, so why are they holding this program up? I mean, what's the problem?
This is a problem. You know, let's face it, this is an academic thing. It seems to make, you know, they're saying we want to evaluate, we want to see what the reaction. But when I've spoken to the commissioner, he says every cop says it's been good. There have been some problems where they've been pulled off by, you know, some perpetrators and that sort of thing. But isn't this a problem if they decide here we're going to take a break, we're going to see if we can afford it? And I don't know any other city that's done a pilot that then subsequently decided not to move ahead.
They have to answer those questions, but obviously money is an issue, and all across, you know, the state.
It's an issue in every city, isn't it?
It's an issue in every city, and I think that there may be, you know, this is more problematic in some of those cities that have not had as responsive, you know, police commissioners. I mean, I think that we've actually had a pretty good group of police commissioners over recent history that have dealt with things.
Especially this one, it gets very positive reviews.
So it's almost like there's less push